So it's an age-old topic, marijuana for your health. And as we enter 2016, the world has an open mind when using the herb for ailments. In light of this, we've invited Courtney Betty of Timeless Herbal Care Limited to share the benefits of medicinal marijuana. Good morning, friend.
Hey,
Great
well,
to see you
really
again.
good to see you again.
Yeah,
really
great to
good.
see you again.
Great to be here.
Tell me a little bit about Timeless Herbal Care.
Well, Timeless Herbal Care is a company that I started here in Jamaica about 3 years ago. And our initial goal was to work with the government to put in place a legal framework for medical marijuana. And fortunately for us, under the leadership of Minister Mark Golding, on February 24th, Jamaica passed legislation which provided a framework for medical marijuana. And I think it's one of the best pieces of legislation that exists in the world. Essentially, it allows us to develop an industry here in Jamaica, but it also allows us now to begin to deal with international, other countries that may want to export the medicinal products that we develop here. So very, very positive.
So you were almost like a consultant to the government?
Well, I decided not to be a consultant. I came back to Jamaica, looked at some of the opportunities. I mean, in Canada, we've had a medical marijuana program for about 10 years. It's created a $2.5 billion industry. In Colorado, it's been there for about 2 years, and I just heard that they're giving back $50 million to their citizens because they've collected too much taxes. And I thought here would be a great opportunity for Jamaica for many different reasons.
When you say medicinal marijuana, is it a different kind of weed that the weed that you see the regular Joe smoking? Do you have to do something to the marijuana?
Well, the thing about it, if you're talking about medicine, then you've got to have quality control. So our company, our mission is safety, efficacy in terms of it's got to, if you say it's going to help your epilepsy or it's got to help your pain, then we've got to prove that. We've got to get into the lab, work with the doctors and scientists and be able to prove that.
Well, let's talk about pain. So does it stop pain?
Oh yeah, it's incredible, Neville. I mean, I can tell you stories. I'll tell you about Kelly, actually. Kelly is a young lady, 28 years old. She was one of our first brand ambassadors. She developed ovarian cancer. And her father will tell you that she went from 20 painkillers to 2 using medicinal marijuana. So this is real. I mean, that's documented. There's no dispute about that, I don't think, anywhere in the medical records.
But again, and I'm not certain I got the answer the first time, is this just, do I have to do something to the weed? If I, say I am in pain and I get weed from someone who I trust and I think it's good weed, do I do something to that, or I smoke it, I drink it, what do I do?
Well, here's the whole thing. It's an industry. So you start off with the proper raw material, then there's a processing that you've got to go through. It's primarily extracting. There's some very complex extraction process that you would go through. Then you've got to look at a formula to see what would be the appropriate one. The thing about the marijuana plant, everyone talks about what I would say the THC, the part that gets you high. There's about another 200 compounds in there. And the CBD, the non-psychoactive one, is the one that everyone right now is very excited about. It's kind of interesting, Neville. I was doing another interview and someone raised the issue of marijuana and the challenges. But I say to them, look at the U.S. government. They've had a patent on this for about 8 years. And in order to get a patent, you've got to go through a very lengthy process of proving that this works. So they've got a patent which establishes that marijuana is an anti-inflammatory, for pain relief, for all of those things. So don't take my word for it. We like to turn to the U.S. government sometimes for answers. Just look at what they have to say.
No, I take your word for it, but I just wanted to know if you had, and I think you answered, so there are things that you take away from
We have to, yes.
Right, so it's not just I kind of smoke a spliff and I'm fine.
We do not advocate smoking.
You don't advocate
We do not advocate smoking. The products that we're developing are going to be in the forms of pills, of extracts, of tinctures. It could be sprays. We've got an amazing pain relief product that we're going to be announcing tomorrow at UE. It's a pain rub. It's an ointment. And everyone that's tried it, I decided to call it magic because it really does work.
What else does it do? What other ailments would it help?
Well, on that particular...
Or get rid of?
Well, there's a couple of elements. On that topical, and we've just done the test for it, so it's not just, say, this works. We've actually gone in the lab and we've had Dr. Lawrence Williams. He's one of the top scientists here in Jamaica. He's tested it this week and he's come back and he says, this is amazing. The anti-inflammatory components that's in here that's now fully documented is just tremendous. So we know that pain, absolutely. You talk about glaucoma. Well, we know that, Dr. Lockhart, Dr. West, they developed this 20 years ago. You talk about asthma. Well, asthma solve, that's been on the market here about 20 years. So these are things that we already know and prove. I mean, I don't think we need to ask, does it work? We know that it works. What we're looking at, though, Neville, is a little bit further. We know that it works. Now we've got to go through this scientific regimen of going through tests. So we want to do clinical trials. So we said, okay, Neville, it works for you. Well, that's great. Why does it work for you? And be able to go through that and document it, because that's what the world wants to see. It's not whether it works or not. They want you to give the evidence, and that's what we're working on.
But it doesn't cure.
Well, there's a lot of issues. We've got Dr. Breslin, who's coming in from California, who's one of the leading experts in terms of cancer and marijuana, and he's been at it for 30 years. We've got Dr. Mark Ware, who's going to be speaking at UWI tomorrow. He's one of the leading experts on pain. And arthritis and other diseases, they will tell you absolutely that it can cure and remove those.
Can cure?
Well, it removes the pain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happening at UWI tomorrow?
Well, we brought in, you know, some of the top scientists from around the world. Dr. Mark Ware, he is the world leading expert. I call him the Michael Jordan of pain.
Yeah.
Dr. Breslin in terms of cancer. Dr. Cromwell, a lot of work's been done on sickle cell. And so they're going to come, meet with the scientists and doctors here in Jamaica and have a discussion about how we can move this industry forward from a scientific research standpoint.
Yeah. What about the other folks that could be a part of this industry? The growers, how do they get involved in something like this?
You know, that's a great question, Neville, because I'm here and other individuals such as Paul Burke, such as Professor Archibald McDonald, Mark Golding, we're about nation building. Like, that's our first mission for Jamaica, is really helping to build a nation. And if you're going to do that, you've got to start at the grassroots. And just like the gentleman talked, as I've gone across the country and all the communities, and we have so many young people that really should be getting into farming. So here's an industry that they need to be proper trained, that they can grow the materials. I mean, unfortunately, the vast majority of ganja that's grown in Jamaica right now is not going to help us on the medicinal products that we're developing.
Why not?
It's not going to meet the qualities. It's very high in THC. We're looking for products that are going to be lower in the non-psychoactive ingredients. So we've got to go through a process of training, re-educating, but the individuals that are prepared to do that, the economic benefits are not only great for them, for their communities, but also for a country.
So you want to show the growers how to grow marijuana?
We absolutely have. There's a lot of experience that's already here, but the type of product that you're looking for a medicinal, if you come to Canada, for example, Neville, marijuana is grown in an environment that's equal to a hospital operating room. That's a level of control that's had within those environments. We don't think we have to do that here in Jamaica, but at the same time, you do require a very tightly controlled environment.
Can it be exported yet? Part of the legislation wouldn't allow that.
Well, we have the ability to it, and we're now waiting for the regulations to be developed. You know, it's interesting, a Canadian company was importing from Holland. We know that Israel is very interested in importing, and there are many other countries. We're talking about a medical product. So once we've gone through and we've developed to a level 1 pharmaceutical product, the world is available for you. I mean, we've taken the guinea hen weed developed by Dr. Williams. We've now moved that to a level 1 drug. So that's going to be available in your pharmacist, and we're going to take similar products from marijuana, bring it to that level where your doctor will prescribe it for you, or you'll go to a pharmacist and you'll get it, and you'll know these are the dosages, and this is the impact that it's going to be able to have for you.
All right. Good to see you.
Oh, great to see you again, Neville.
All right. Take care. Chief Executive Officer of Timeless Herbal Care Limited, Mr. Courtney Betty. 10 minutes to your health.